welcome back to day 2 of G2E here on the floor with SportsGrid. I'm joined by Kehn today, the co-founder and CEO of Defy the Odds. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. You're like an industry legend. You and Sue and Paris are, huge women in the industry, and you've made a huge impact. So
they were amazing people. I'm so honored to be, working with them now.
Yeah, it's like 3 powerhouses together putting this program on for the rest of us. So we're all very grateful for that.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about Defy the Odds?
Sure. It's a innovation startup launchpad working with early stage founders. Mission overall is to remove some of the barriers that exist in gaming for the very early stages. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to start generating revenue, and some of those barriers need to be taken down a bit. So we work with that. We have a community of startups that we run. It's online and live. Lots of resources, lots of network connections, lots of learning in the community. We just launched that fully last month. And then we're doing a little bit to bring some new money into the space. Family offices, influencers, athletes, that type of thing.
What kind of barriers are people facing when they're getting into this space?
A lot of it has to do with tech integrations. It takes a long time to get your product integrated. But before that even happens, it takes a long time to meet the right people. A lot of people coming from outside don't know we're all pretty much 1 phone call away, 2 phone calls away from knowing who the right people are within the space. Understanding how to grow with smaller companies, as your first partners, that type of thing, to find your product market fit, to validate what your idea is before you go to the big behemoths. All those types of learnings take a long time, and we're just trying to accelerate that a bit.
How long have you been doing this program?
It's a year old. We launched it last year in September. So we're still a startup too. We're still figuring things out, but it's a lot of fun. The ecosystem of startups in this space, investors and startups in the space, really vibrant. Just really far away from some of the bigger gaming companies, and they need to know what's happening at the cutting edge of innovation.
Do you have any success stories over the past year of companies?
Listen, we really love working with female founders. There's not a ton in the space, and we thought we'd have a really hard time finding them or developing them. And it seems like there is an appetite from women to come in and own their own business, run it, that sort of thing, which is really great to see. So I take that as a win. That sort of thing is making sure that we build profile around that when people think of startup ecosystem, it doesn't look one particular way. It looks however you want it to. Anyone has a chance to come in and do it. In terms of startups sort of making it, like I said, we've been doing it a year. It takes a little bit longer than that to do. So I don't have any success stories that way.
So not everybody knows your background in gaming leading up to this, because you have a lot of experience to start a program like this, which is no small feat. Between you and Sue and Paris, you guys have like all the resources and all of the experience to pour into this, but can you share a little bit about your experience?
Sure. I mean, going way back, my first job was in horse racing. I went to school in Kentucky, and everybody gets into horse racing. So that got parlayed into, I met my now husband, and we moved up to Canada. So I worked for a sports book that was there. Just, I guess, a natural progression if you have that sort of gambling knowledge early on. I don't think anyone studies or, sort of dreams of going into it. We all sort of happened into it by mistake. But that was really, really fun, and that's what moved me over to the UK. So I was working for an online sports book back then. When I had my first child back in 2015, I really decided that leveling a playing field, serving women in leadership was my North Star, was my calling. I continued to do that. So I started a nonprofit called All In Diversity Project with my co-founder, Tina Thakor-Rankin. That's still an organization that's running and thriving. Back in January last year, my energy sort of flipped a bit, and I wanted to work with individuals rather than businesses. All In serves sort of the wider business community, which is sort of the evolution of how we got to Defy the Odds. And in the meantime, I've done a bit of work with some events companies. I was working with SBC. I'd really built a really great network through them. And I worked for a VC that was investing specifically in iGaming that was based in Europe.
How did you get connected with Paris and Sue?
I mean, since I started sort of advocating for women in leadership, they both were doing similar. Always, and formed friendships, long-term friendships that way. Sue was on my board at All In Diversity Project, so since 2016 we've been doing some work together. When Defy the Odds was just an idea, we sort of drew the Venn diagram, if you will, and it was like, we're working in gaming, we're working with startups to some degree. Paris is an angel investor. Sue runs First Pitch for SBC, so that's a lot of pitch competitions within the space, and does some advisory work. I had done some investment work and was advising some startups. So it was a natural fit, and to be able to sort of bring all of our experience and resources together, for me, is I can't believe it most days.
Yeah, that's incredible. That just seems like the perfect fit for all of you.
Yeah, it's fun every day.
So I'm sure you are approached often by people who are looking for advice about the industry or startups or whatnot. What kind of things do you share that might be a little atypical?
Everybody thinks their idea is the only idea and the best idea, so we help a lot with competitive analysis. Just having been in the industry for a very long time, the three of us, we can say it's been tried before, maybe it's the right time now, or it's been tried before and failed miserably, and here's why. Helping startups to understand the evolution of how we got here, not just in the US, but how we got here as a global industry, in terms of the evolution of regulation, in terms of why responsible gambling matters and sustainability matters and all those types of things. I don't think startups think a lot about that. Product market fit, in terms of you might understand gaming because you worked in it, but to understand the customer and what they're looking for and what's happening outside of gaming, if we're competing for entertainment dollar, to help them understand that. You might have worked in a big company in building games, example, right? But to really understand that customer, what they're looking for now, is important, right? And to spend a lot of time on that.
So what's next for you guys over the next 1 to 2 years? What are you looking forward to?
We're leaning hard into the community, making sure that everyone gets to come in and get the resources and be able to share what they're doing with the rest of the gaming community. I think we need a lot more customers, buyers in there, operators, that type of thing, so that they can learn from them in real time. And I'd say probably next for us is really look at bringing outside money in, de-risking gaming for people who are investing in tech in other areas, so they understand it is highly regulated, it is safe, this is how we make money. This is the growth rate that they can expect.
Well, I just learned a lot just from that. So that's, you got one person.
Thank you.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.